imagine standing in a medieval Spanish plaza. You're surrounded by people buying groceries, or maybe they're just waiting for a bus.
Just a totally normal afternoon.
Right, but then the temperature suddenly plummets. I mean, the birds completely stop singing, the light turns metallic, the shadows contort, and thousands of strangers around you just fall dead silent as the sun goes entirely black.
It's terrifying and beautiful all at once.
Exactly. And today, we're going to unpack how that exact feeling, the feeling you get during a total solar eclipse, might actually be the key to surviving the artificial intelligence revolution.
Which, I know, sounds like a massive leap. But that shared sense of awe is exactly what we are missing right now. I mean, we walk around with the mathematical modeling of the entire universe right in our pockets, yet we've never felt more disconnected from it.
Yeah, we're totally drowning in flawless abstract data.
Right, but we are absolutely starved for the human context that, actually makes any of it matter.
And that tension is really the core of our mission today on this deep dive. We're exploring a digital hub called ARTESEROS Tech, and specifically their virtual creative factory, or VCF.
Yeah, the VCF.
Because this platform is attempting to take cold, hard, scientific data and tether it directly to our messy, shared human experiences. So, okay, let's unpack this. Because on the surface, connecting astrophysics, historical tragedies, and cutting-edge AI, it sounds like trying to force puzzle pieces together from entirely different boxes.
It is wildly ambitious. And to break down how they actually pull this off, we're going to look at 3 pillars today.
Okay, let's hear them.
First, we will examine their foundational philosophy of humanizing data through their pretty eclectic library. Second, we will look at that philosophy in action during a visceral physical event, that solar eclipse in Spain you mentioned.
Oh, I can't wait to get into the details of that.
It's fascinating. And finally, we will explore how they take those ancient cosmic lessons and apply them to the absolute bleeding edge of future tech, something they're calling organic intelligence.
Organic intelligence. Wow. Well, let's start with that first pillar. So, ARTESEROS Tech is based out of Colorado, led by FRANCO ARTESEROS. And when you dive into the VCF library and the VCF galleries, the content curation is, well, it's deliberately startling.
Startling is a good word for it.
Yeah, like you'll find a deep systemic analysis of AI algorithms sitting right next to a historical breakdown of the 1904 Eden, Colorado train tragedy.
Right.
And then right next to that, there's a piece dissecting the origins of spaghetti westerns and the European myth of the Wild West.
Which, I mean, at first glance, feels completely chaotic. Like, why put a train crash next to a film genre and an AI model?
Right. But there is this brilliant underlying logic here. Their guiding philosophy is to find the exact space where science and awe stop competing. They want to give data a human pulse.
Or human pulse, yeah.
Take the Eden train tragedy. Instead of just listing the engineering failure of the bridge and the casualty, the cold data, they frame it entirely around how the physical landscape permanently altered that community's emotional identity.
They bridge the structural engineering with the human grief.
Exactly.
What's fascinating here is how they apply that exact same lens to the spaghetti westerns. I mean, the historical reality of the American West was often dry, brutal, and geographically isolated.
Right. It wasn't glamorous at all.
No. But Italian filmmakers in the 1960s, they layered on these operatic scores, stylized cinematography, and intense emotional close-ups.
Oh, the iconic close-up.
Right. They didn't just document the West. They constructed a global myth to help people process the idea of a rugged, lawless frontier. So in both cases, the train and the film ARTESEROS Tech is showing us how humans naturally build narratives to process raw reality.
I mean, it's the difference between reading the sheet music and actually feeling the bass of a symphony in your chest.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
They're taking abstract events and turning them into communal memory. And, if you want to see how that plays out in the real world, not just on a digital platform, we have to look at how they frame a literal cosmic alignment.
Which brings us to the total solar eclipse passing over Spain. Because an eclipse is fundamentally pure astrophysics. I mean, the geometry is absolute.
The math is flawless.
But an eclipse doesn't just arrive like a rainstorm. It gathers. It slowly reshapes the physical environment in ways that completely bypass your intellect and go straight to your nervous system.
Let's slow down and actually look at the sensory details of that gathering because they are just incredible. It starts with the partial phase, the
Mhm.
moon taking this slow, almost patient bite out of the sun.
Right, the partial phase.
At first, you might just glance up with your protective glasses and then go back to drinking your coffee. But as totality gets closer, the environment begins to warp. The light slips into this bizarre, flattened quality. The glare suddenly comes off of white buildings.
And you start to notice the pinhole effect.
Oh, I love this part.
Yeah, because the light source in the sky is no longer a round orb, right? It's a sharp crescent. So the everyday world turns into a natural projector.
It's so weird to see in person.
It really is. If you look down at the pavement beneath a tree, the tiny gaps between the overlapping leaves act like camera lenses. Suddenly, the ground is covered in thousands of tiny, shimmering crescent suns. You are literally watching the shadows change shape.
And it is not just visual. I mean, the natural world gets confused. The birds think it's nightfall, so they fall completely quiet.
The silence is eerie.
And then you feel this sudden, very real drop in temperature. A physical chill sweeps over you. Here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Because as modern people, we already know the math. We know exactly why the temperature is dropping.
We know the exact trajectory of the moon.
Yes. Yet the human body reacts with goosebumps and a racing heart before your conscious mind can even finish explaining the geometry.
That physical reaction is the friction between the abstract diagram and the human pulse. And ARTESEROS tech highlights that this isn't just a biological phenomenon, it's deeply social.
Social? How so?
Think about the social architecture of Spain. The culture is built around gathering in public, evening walks, festivals, open-air meals.
Oh, right, the plazas.
Exactly. Those historic Spanish plazas are not just decorative spaces where you walk from point A to point B. They function as living rooms under the open sky.
So when the sky starts turning dark in the middle of the afternoon, these everyday, grocery-run spaces immediately transition into communal observatories.
Right. You experience a massive shift in human scale. Picture standing in one of those medieval squares. The narrow streets are already designed to hold shadow.
Sure.
As the light turns metallic, you suddenly become acutely aware of the Earth's rotation. The universe feels overwhelmingly vast. But because everyone around you is staring at the exact same terrifying, beautiful thing, the strangers standing 3 feet away suddenly feel unusually close.
That's amazing.
You're watching the machinery of the heavens, but you are doing it while sharing snacks and gasping collectively.
And then totality hits.
Yeah.
The sun becomes a black hole in the sky, and you can finally see the solar corona, the sun's outer atmosphere.
The silver crown.
Yes. It's described as this pale, delicate silver light, manipulated into fine, wispy structures by intense solar magnetism. It looks alive, not like a static textbook photograph at all.
And just as quickly as totality arrives, it breaks. The moon moves. The very first burst of sunlight returns, which looks vividly like a struck match against the dark sky.
Oh, wow, a struck match.
Yeah. The corona instantly vanishes, and that crowd, which had likely fallen into a stunned, dead silence, suddenly exhale.
The tension just shatters. People start cheering all over again.
Right, and in that moment of collective exhale, the public plaza transforms a third time. It becomes a temporary classroom.
Contemporary classroom.
Yeah, people turn to each other. You have children using their hands to try and describe the ship of the corona to their parents. You have strangers comparing how fast their hearts were beating.
Sound cool.
The abstract science, the orbital mechanics of our solar system, has been successfully tethered to a shared communal memory.
The shared chill in the air physically links everyone in that plaza. And what I really love about this is that the temporary classroom doesn't just look up at the sky, it looks backward in time.
It does.
Experiencing that sheer interruption of the ordinary day immediately sparks historical curiosity. Standing in that shadow links those modern observers directly to civilizations from thousands of years ago.
It's a profound continuity. I mean, ancient astronomers across Babylon, China, and Mesoamerica documented eclipses through this meticulous tradition of record keeping.
Right.
They carved it into bone, painted it on pottery, and wrote it in manuscripts.
Okay, but I have to push back on this a little bit because I think it's really easy to over-romanticize this connection.
How so?
Well, today, we are standing in that plaza armed with perfectly filtered multi-coded lenses. We have smartphone apps vibrating to tell us down to the exact millisecond when totality will hit. We have a complete sanitized understanding of planetary geometry. Like, we know for a fact that a dragon is not eating the sun. So is our emotional response actually mirroring what those ancients felt, or are we just slapping our own modern nostalgia onto history?
That is a very fair critique. It's incredibly easy to assume our technology insulates us from raw, ancient emotion. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, the reality is that while the tools of observation have completely changed, the feeling at the center of the event is identical.
Explain that. What is the feeling at the center?
It's the realization of our own smallness. The fundamental human experience remains unchanged. The sun goes dark, people look up, and the predictable world cracks open into something entirely unfamiliar.
Right.
That visceral reaction we talked about, the goosebumps, the sudden quiet, it bypasses your smartphone app. It bypasses your understanding of orbital mechanics.
It's pure instinct.
Exactly. There is a deeply ingrained cultural instinct in humanity to mark time together. The ancients may have recorded it on different mediums out of a mixture of fear and reverence, but the core drive to witness the immense machinery of the heavens and record our tiny place within it is a continuous thread. We are doing the exact same thing today when we hold our phones up to the sky.
It's like the math gives us the schedule, but the awe is what actually compels us to show up in the plaza together.
Spot on.
So we've seen how ARTESEROS tech uses this philosophy of the human pulse to recontextualize history and astronomy. But they don't stop at the past or the cosmos. They apply this exact same framework to the absolute bleeding edge of tomorrow, artificial intelligence.
Which is arguably the most crucial part of their entire project. If you look at their AI and technology section, alongside standard categories like creative AI and AI agents, they have a very specific category titled organic intelligence.
Now hold on. When I hear organic intelligence, my brain immediately goes to biological computing.
Of course it does.
I picture a tech bro in Silicon Valley trying to plug a microchip into a ficus tree, or some sci-fi scenario where we use brain tissue to run software. Are they just slapping the word organic onto standard tech to make it sound friendlier? Because, I mean, that feels like a branding trick.
It does sound like a buzzword, but they are using it in a highly specific, functional way. Organic here does not mean biological code.
Okay.
ARTESEROS tech uses the term to drag the conversation about AI out of the realm of abstract black box diagrams. They define organic intelligence as AI that is integrated into human workflows in a way that respects friction, community, and shared experience.
Friction. Huh.
Yeah, they view technological innovation not as a product you passively consume, but as a shared appointment with progress.
A shared appointment. So how do they actually pull that off? Because right now, interacting with AI usually feels like sitting alone in a dark room, typing prompts into a void.
Exactly, and the isolation is what they're trying to dismantle through systemic analysis. A perfect example is their analytical piece titled Day of the Owl. The methodology here is entirely about unmasking hidden systems.
Day of the Owl. I like that. What exactly are they unmasking?
Well, think about how an owl operates. It sees perfectly in the dark. Right now, AI operates in the dark. It is a hidden system where massive neural networks scrape data, make decisions, and spit out results without the user ever seeing the mechanics.
It's a total black box.
Right. The Day of the Owl approach forces those invisible networks into the light. It maps out exactly how an AI tool interacts with human creators. Instead of just marveling at an AI-generated image, this approach unmasks the supply chain.
Like, where did the data actually come from?
Exactly. How did human artists influence the model? Where is the human friction in the loop?
So what does this all mean? If I'm translating this, organic intelligence is like treating technology as a living, breathing ecosystem that we actively participate in, rather than a vending machine where we insert a prompt and receive a product.
That's a perfect analogy.
It's the difference between a town square just being a paved grid for efficiency versus it being a living room where a community gathers and shapes the space.
And this raises an important question which really sits at the heart of everything we've discussed today.
What's that?
As we rapidly build out these massive world-altering AI systems, how do we ensure they inspire wonder and human connection rather than alienation?
And that brings us right back to the eclipse.
Exactly. Think about the nature of the moon's shadow. It belongs to no one. You cannot pay to speed it up.
Nope.
You cannot optimize it. You cannot bargain with the clouds to move out of the way. It demands patience and humility from every single person watching, regardless of their status. ARTESEROS tech is arguing that deploying AI into our society requires that exact same grounding.
Okay, make that concrete for me.
Yeah.
What does an eclipse-like AI deployment actually look like?
If we treat AI just as a tool for hyper-efficiency automating emails, generating content faster, isolating us behind screens, it just becomes another dividing force in a noisy age.
Just more noise.
Right. But if we build organic intelligence, If we design systems that are transparent, where the AI acts as a collaborator in a shared public space, where we can see the machinery working together, it changes the dynamic.
Oh, I see.
Imagine AI co-creating a localized solution for a neighborhood's energy grid, and the whole community can see the data adapting in real time, debating it, shaping it. That transparency, that shared friction, forces us to gather around the technology rather than hide behind it.
It's taking the awe we feel when the sun disappears in a Spanish plaza
Yeah.
and trying to program that same reverence for shared human experience into the algorithms of tomorrow.
Beautifully said.
That is a heavy but incredibly beautiful lift.
It is. It suggests that whether we are looking up at the sky, digging through the history of a tragic train crash in 1904, or looking down at our screens, the goal is exactly the same: to find the space where science and awe stop competing.
What a journey this has been. For those of you listening, just take a second to think about the immense ground we've covered today.
We've been all over the map.
We really have. We started with a digital hub out in Colorado, trying to make sense of spaghetti westerns in history. We traveled back to the meticulous, reverent records of ancient astronomers. We stood in a historic Spanish plaza, feeling the temperature literally drop as the moon swallowed the sun.
Such a powerful image.
And we mapped all of that onto a future driven by organic intelligence.
And the unifying thread running through every single one of those moments is that cold data, whether it's the casualty count of a train, the geometry of our solar system, or the weight of a neural network, is fundamentally meaningless until it is tethered to the human pulse.
It only matters when we feel it together. So we want to leave you with a final thought to mull over as you go about the rest of your day, maybe while you're looking at your own screens.
Yeah.
We talked extensively about how a total solar eclipse is nature's way of forcing a crowd of divided, busy strangers to just stop, look up, and collectively realize both their own smallness and their profound dignity.
It is a literal, unavoidable interruption of the ordinary world.
Exactly. So what will be the technological equivalent of that? When this idea of organic intelligence fully matures and AI is woven into everything we do, what kind of digital event will actually have the sheer power to force us to stop optimizing?
That's the million-dollar question.
What will it take to turn the entire world into a temporary classroom of shared awe? Something to think about. Keep asking questions, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.